Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, my darling co-reporters. It is time for our weekly Vanderpump Rules recap. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday. Listen, I felt like this episode was better than last week's episode because things became really like cemented, in my opinion, in terms of this whole kind of like affair situation and the Sandoval stuff. As usual, I want to know, where are you guys watching from and what would you rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 10? I personally would rate the episode a solid 8.5 to 9. It was so good. Liz, you were the first one in here. Shout out to you. Hi, Chevy Lynn. Nice to see you again. Hi, Roseanne. Right, like Tom was not having it when they tried messing with his woman. He went after them hook, line, and sinker. And like, to me, I kind of felt like, oh my God, because here's the thing. It wasn't just Tom Sandoval defending Raquel against the Vanderpump Rules Mean Girls. Ariana was doing it too. And that just broke my heart. And not only did Ariana also defend Raquel about these people, didn't she make a beautiful comment talking about, let me try and find it. What's it like being the hottest person on the effing planet? Like, she was hyping that girl up. Meanwhile, this girl the whole time was already banging her man. And Raquel, you could tell she was banging Tom already before Tom was sticking up for her, because when she was talking to James about the pool party, she never once referred to it as Sandoval and Ariana's pool party. She referred to it exclusively as Sandoval's pool party. And I'm like, ooh, girl, ooh, that's that jealousy. That's that, ooh, wait until I get this man kind of stuff. Like, I felt the vibe there and it made my skin crawl at least a little bit. Did any of you guys feel the same way? Chevy's from Austin, Texas. Adriana from Portland, Oregon. Mr. Rogers says, justice for Katie. But Katie was so insufferable this episode, Mr. Rogers. She and Lala are some grade A bullies, especially Lala. Like, the fact that they keep making me feel bad for Raquel and I'm disgusted by Raquel and her actions, to me, that just goes to show you how like nasty they are as people, in my humble opinion. I'm sorry, it sounds rude. By the way, this is a cardigan. My arms are cold, but I don't want to ruin the dress. So I'm just like hiding it down here. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Jasmine. It's nice to see you again. Hi, Sloopy. Massachusetts in the building. NYC in the building. Oh, yes, guys. So many Americans. We've got Atlanta in the building. I love it. I love it. We usually get some UK and some Irish people in here too. So I think they'll be coming a little bit later. See, Ariana, she went to bat for them. And she had such good discernment when it came to the Mean Girls, because she was like, oh, I just know that whatever happened in Vegas was just them being mean to Raquel. They were like hazing her, and she was so right. But anyway, you guys, we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. So let me just back it up a little bit earlier than the pool party, okay? Now, how funny is James Kennedy at that guys' night? He's just like, guys' night means nothing. And I want to know how you guys felt about him texting Raquel and then later leaving the party because, no, sorry, not texting Raquel, texting his girlfriend Allie, and then later leaving the party because Raquel had barged in. What did you guys think of that? I know some people are claiming that that was controlling or whatever kind of behavior, but I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, like if we have a boundary surrounding your ex-girlfriend, please do let me know when she pops up. And like, I would prefer it if you like left those kinds of situations, especially if she's running around saying the type of things that Raquel is saying, running around after people's exes and this and that and just being messy. Please, Steph in the building. Hey, Steph. Hi, Mrs. Stewart. Lala needs to take several seats. Absolutely. She is going so hard. By the way, did you see her Instagram post taunting Raquel? Raquel said on Instagram that she was going to be attending the reunion. And so Lala Kent goes ahead and she reposts that with like kind of like a nice, nasty sort of almost threatening message talking about, oh, like, we can't wait to see you, Raquel, with like the devil horns. And I was like, way to go, Lala. You keep on trying to make this thing about yourself. We already saw you cashing in on it. By the way, I'm sharing my screen with you right now, my darlings. So I'm zooming in right here. This initial black screen is Raquel. Yes, I will be attending the reunion tomorrow in person. Okay. And then next you get into Lala as she reposted. I'm surprised Raquel has not blocked her, by the way. If I were Raquel, I should have been blocked a long time ago. And so Lala Kent in her section, she says, "We can't wait to see you, Raquel, with the devil thing." And it's like, you are doing too much. I know that you think that this is going to erase your own kind of sullied reputation, but it's not happening. You're still the same person that we always thought you were too, Lala, right? And like, it's horrible that you're making us stick up for this girl who's a horrible person as well right now. I wanted Raquel to make out with shorts right there because Katie was so miserable. Ouch, Sloopy, you're brutal, absolutely brutal. But how about that? Tom Schwartz, as usual, not sticking up for his wifey, ex-wifey, none of that. My God, I'm tired of Lala and Katie. Me too. The fact that they still cannot get me rallying for them. Actually, Katie, I am Team Katie when it comes to the Raquel stuff, but Lala versus Raquel, Team Raquel all day, every day. Hi, Abu. You would think after they treated Lala when she joined the cast, she would be nicer to people. Exactly, right? Like, I was recently rewatching some of those older episodes and they were mean to her. They hazed her just because she was, pretty. She was pretty young and carefree, wild and stuff, and like, they hated it. James, yes, right, James did such a good job. I loved it. I felt like he and Allie both handled that situation very well, and I would be so happy, if like my guy did something like that, just like gave me a heads up instead of trying to hide it, because a lot of guys would just like try to hide it and be like, okay, well, don't ask, don't tell, or like later when it pops up, I will have all kinds of excuses like, okay, well, she was there but we didn't interact and I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to overreact, you know what I mean? And he did that another time, I think at the pool party. As soon as Raquel walks in, he texts Allie. And, I'm kind of wondering though now, you guys, I don't know if this is me being messy or not, but I'm starting to wonder when it came to that. I'm like, is he texting Allie because he wants to reassure her or because he wants to reassure himself that he's no longer in love with Raquel? I kind of got the vibe that, I don't know. I feel like it could be somewhere in between the two of them. I think that his heart still is attached to Raquel, but Raquel left him and it was also public. And so he is just too prideful to try and get back together with her. So I do want to know if anyone else is kind of feeling the same way. Do I think he likes Allie a lot? Yes. Do I think he loves her the way he claims he does? No, I think it's too soon, both in terms of the age of his relationship with Allie and also in terms of the age of his separation from Raquel. You can't bounce back that quickly from being engaged to the love of your life to suddenly like living with and being in love with another new girl in the span of literally like 2-3 months. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's realistic. And I don't think that it's possible at all, but I digress. Oh my God, you guys are going in on Lala. Okay, I'm happy that I'm not the only one. I kind of for a minute was like, Grace, like, why are you siding with Raquel over Lala? Like, Raquel, like, what she's doing in this moment. She's already hooking up with Sandoval, but at the same time, Lala was just too much. Like, she's too harsh, she's too nasty, she's too vile. Like, I'm gonna skip ahead, right, a little bit here, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's an example of her just like literally disgusting me. So Raquel is confronting her. She's trying to talk to her. And then Lala, with this whole crowd around, she's calling Raquel stupid, right? She's like, go ahead, Raquel. Think nice and slow. Put a thought together. I know you can do it. I was like, Lala, how would you like it if people spoke to your daughter that way? It's just wholly unacceptable. It truly is. Like, it's disgusting, it's vile, and it's a form of bullying. And so, by the way, Goth Beauty, her name legally is Rachel, but I think it has been said that James Kennedy told her to go by Raquel because it was like more unique and catchy. I think he didn't make up the name because obviously it existed, but he made it up as a pseudonym for her. So like in that respect, that happened after Sandoval had already stuck up for Raquel the first time. But I was like, thank God Sandoval is there to help get these girls off of her, because Lala, Christina Kelly, and Katie absolutely are mean girls. They were being super duper mean, a lot more than was called for at the end of the day. And I agree with you, Sloopy. There's something there. There's something there. Bunny Cheeks on it too. James is emotionally immature, right? Like I feel like he's got like a very extremely anxious. I feel like he's triggered by abandonment issues. So he's going above and beyond and to just try to keep this relationship. You know what I mean? Because he's so terrified of being left again, especially so soon after it just happened. Rosanna says Lala just wants to stay in the spotlight, making it about herself and not her friend. Exactly. You know, rude, selfish, you name it. That is what she's been, these past couple of episodes. Not even just these past couple, but ever since Raquel came around. Now, the girls break up boys' night by popping up, even though they were not invited. And so they sit down and they explain to everybody what went down in Vegas and why they left the event early. Okay. And the guys were rooting for them. Schwartz was rooting for Raquel for sticking up for herself against Lala. Remember, Schwartz has his own beef with Lala because Lala is incredibly upset at him for playing pickleball with her ex-fiance / her baby daddy, Randall Emmett, after Lala already asked everybody to pick her side in the breakup. And so that's not surprising. By the way, I do want to say when he was cheering on Raquel, all I could think was, wow, I am so excited for his confrontational scene with Lala. Remember, he's going to she's going to be yelling at him and he's going to be like, oh my God, something about like her fake lips or something. And it's going to be really funny. So I am looking forward to that as well. Now, I did want to ask you guys this question the last time I did a recap, but I completely forgot about it. So I'm glad that Lala brought it up again. But she keeps on saying that she and Randall never had intercourse after conceiving their daughter, Ocean. Did that surprise anybody else? I was surprised that they weren't like banging at least the first trimester or the first two trimesters or anything like that, because, you know, I get it in the last one, like it gets like painful, even like trying to sleep or like breathe and everything. And like, you just don't want to, but I thought like they would still be getting it in early on, but I guess not. That really surprised me. And I felt like she was really telling on herself, right? She's like, the sex was bad. I never had orgasms with him or anything like that. She talks poorly about his look. She's like, ew, I'm not attracted to him. He doesn't have a jawline or whatnot. So to me, like she keeps all but admitting that she was only with that guy for his money. And do you guys remember last episode when they went to that random, yeah, Erin, she wanted that check. Do you remember that last episode where they went to that random, like kind of like hole in the wall bar? And it's like a bunch of like middle-aged men with like those giant 10-month pregnant beer bellies or 11-month pregnant. She was claiming, oh my God, these guys are not my type. And I'm like, girl, look at your ex-fiance, look at your baby daddy, slap a couple like alleged millions on them, and all of a sudden they would be your type, you know? Like she is just so damn transparent. It's not even funny. Chrissy says, when someone's the way Lala is, it's proof they're really emotionally dysfunctional. She chooses the wrong men. Honestly, Lala needs professional help. You know, and speaking of that, is she in therapy or anything like that? I know she speaks about like the family stuff, trying to fight Randall in court and whatnot. But I wonder if she's actually in therapy to try to help like regulate her kind of like emotions and whatnot, because I think that she's always on the attack in a way that is just simply not sustainable and not healthy for herself, the people around her, you know, and especially her nervous system. Crystal says it's so amazing watching it now that we know. The new episode was so good. There was interaction between Tom and Rachel the entire episode. Yeah, and speaking of that, can we get into how he was hanging on her every word when she was explaining why she left Vegas? Schwartz was like rooting her on, but Sandoval was like in awe of his girl standing up for herself against the VPR Mean Girls, which was kind of funny to me. Now, by the way, I'm going to show you a picture of this guy. So Lala, she's on like this kick where she's like looking for men of color these days. And so there's this guy that she's like really into that she invites back to the house that they had rented. What do you guys think of this man? Because to me, I don't understand it, but I don't like when people are covered in tattoos. Like all the way up the arms, all the way up the neck, the face and stuff. It's too much for me. It's overwhelming. So I think that maybe I am a little bit biased that way already, but perhaps when she was sober, Barbara, that's funny, but you are most likely right. She's like seeing him for the first time, right? So this guy, yeah, I was like, really, girl, this is what you are so into right now. I don't get it. And his personality, just like the personality of the other guys, they did go on on a double date with other guys, like very early on. I want to say episode 1 or 2, and the men were just so, what do you call them? Like you call that dense, right? They were so dense. They had nothing going on. Like they were not great conversationalists or anything like that. And you know, this guy was the exact same way. I'm like, I just don't see what she sees in these men. Like, so far, none of the guys that she's been into have been like anything where I'd be like, oh yeah, girl, like I would fight you for that man. Listen, I'm not gonna fight for a man, but you know what I mean? Like I would like I want to hit it too, you know, like none of these guys to me are what's up, but I digress. I like a very like clean cut kind of guy. So anyway, yeah, let me tell you when he really turned me off, okay? Because I was already, hi Joyce, Canada in the house, my people. So he comes to the house and everything, and so Katie really wants Lala to bang him. Christina Kelly is just there, like, you know, vibing and minding her own business. By the way, Miles, I have seen this being said online before. Can someone please educate me on what a dry drunk is? I forgot to look it up. Please, please, please. I do want to know. So he comes to the house, right? And like, he's just very awkward and he's trying to be like this hot shot and stuff. And at a certain point, the girls are like, okay, we're going to go to bed. And so Lala wants to go to bed too. And so she tells him, and he says something in front of everybody that just made my skin crawl. He goes, oh, Katie's like, I'm nervous. Lala's like, you guys are making me nervous. And then he's like, yeah, and I get nervous when I'm about to be serviced. Oh my God, the way I would have kicked him out right then and there. Who said you're about to be serviced? Who do you think you are? Like, ew. If a man talked to me like that, absolutely not. Like, I would not be able to do a single damn thing with him because I would just feel so objectized. I would just feel so demeaned. I would just feel so grossed out by what it is that he just said. And it's like the presumptuous nature. Like, how do you know I'm even putting in any effort tonight? You know, this is all on you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's true, but you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? I'm about to be serviced. Who told you you're about to be serviced? Like, what? That was absolutely crazy to me, you know, like what the hell? But I digress. I was just not feeling it at all. So the next morning, Lala wakes up and she debriefs with Katie about her intimate night with this man, allegedly servicing this man. And yeah, she's like, see, a sleeve is good. And let me show you the kind of sleeve I actually like. I like the one, who has this? Like some kind of celebrities have this where like, it's like one side, it's like their breast and then the sleeve. I'm like, that I can do, but not like on your fingers as well, then your face as well, your neck. No, it's too much for me. But anyway, yeah, she tells Katie that this man was great in bed. Apparently she hit the big O. Sorry, but I don't believe her. I do not believe that he made her O. I can't. There's no way. To me, he's someone who thinks that he is like a prize to women. And already most men can't even make women like, you know, owe. So like, I don't believe that you're going to owe off a one night stand. I think she's just constantly trying to, yeah, not even Oliver's my style. Absolutely not. Doesn't he have like a tear tattoo on his face? Hard pass. Yeah, like he doesn't look like someone who is giving, who like will pay attention to your body or anything like that. Like, I don't believe it. I think she's just trying to taunt Randall. You know, I feel like that's her whole mission this entire season, actually. But I digress. Oh, by the way, I'm curious about who that basketball player is. Exactly. She likes men of color for a one night stand, not a serious relationship. I think that you'll see her back again with like another rich old white guy eventually, whoever will have her. And yeah, you know, she made it very clear, Paige, that she was a little bit of a hooker almost in her relationship with Randall. Barbara says a dry drunk is someone who gets sober but doesn't change their ways. Oh, okay. Miles is saying the same thing. Thank you. You know, in my head, I was imagining that it's someone who like, I don't know, can still get drunk off of like paint fumes or something like that. Lead. I don't know. You know, I wasn't thinking like that, but thank you guys so much. You said, don't be nervous. Oh, when you're going to get serviced. Oh, okay. I heard that wrong, Raquel. I thought he said he got nervous when he's about to be serviced. Okay, in that case, hurry on up. Let's go to the bedroom. What are you waiting? I'm joking. But I digress. Yes, The Rock has that. I love that style of like tattoo. That one's to me is better. You know, I'm not completely anti-tattoo, just not like the full gamut. That's too much for me. Okay, so let's get into this. James's girlfriend, Allie, did you guys know this, or were you as surprised as I was when this came up? She wants to be a full-time tarot reader one day. Huh? Was that interesting to you guys? That to me was quite fascinating. And I think that with her being on TV, like if she's able to correctly predict the future of James or like her or anybody on the show, you know what I mean? Like if she does it as a party trick at one of these things and it comes true, it had me thinking of Kim Zolciak on The Real Housewives of Atlanta when she had her psychic Rose, who kept on accurately predicting how many kids she was going to have, what gender the kids were going to be, and in what order. I was like, girl, if you really are good, okay, you can build a full-blown following and you can make a lot of money. But even if you're not good, guess what? You can make a lot of money on the internet convincing people that their exes want them back. Do you guys have this problem in your TikTok algorithm? Every time I open up TikTok, I keep getting these like tarot readers or whatever, okay? And they keep telling me, your ex is dying to get back to you. I'm like, you know what? You guys are funny. You're all saying the exact same thing. And I understand. Thank you, Jenna. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. And I understand why they do it, because a lot of people, they desperately want their exes back. Like, it's consuming their lives and stuff, because love is a drug. It's addictive and stuff. You know what I mean? And when you try to give people like false hope, they will pay you money to keep on giving them the false hope. So if she does that in her tarot life, she could make a killing, you know, but I do hope that she actually is like accurate and whatnot and actually does predict things like on the show. Like, you know what I would love for her to do? Do a reading on Ariana and tell us if Ariana is going to get married and have babies. I'm calling it right now. Ariana's always instinctively knew that Tinsel Tom, wasn't SHIT. And that's why she didn't want those things with him. I do think that within the next 3 years or less, she will be married and she will have maybe one kid. Remember, she did freeze her eggs. Okay, you guys. So I do think that like with the right person, she'll be willing to do that. How many times does that happen to you where one guy or one person that you're with has tried to convince you to do these things with them, right? To make these big steps, but you just didn't want to. But then the next one comes along and you are practically tripping over yourself, ready to do all those things. That has happened to me. Like sometimes you just can't bring yourself to want certain things with a certain person, even though you think you like them and you think you love them, but your body knows better than you do. And it'll just keep on like freezing you from being able to make those steps. So I do see that for Ariana, and I'm claiming that for her if that's what she wants. Because again, she did freeze her eggs, so it's definitely not 100% off the table. Why do so many Californians want to be into spiritual fads? Reiki, sound therapy, goat yoga. Ooh, what's goat yoga? I love goats. When I was in Morocco, they had the goats that were on the tree, and I used to like, I took them, I cuddled them. It was so cute. I don't know. Maybe it's the sunny weather that just makes them so happy and grateful and like loving. I don't know. I feel so. I would be if I had great weather year round. I'd be so happy. I'd be praying to God every day. Thank God. Bunny Chic, let me put some sound on. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. We've got UK in the building officially. I love that. So we had a lot of Americans. Then I saw a fellow Canadian. I'm Canadian. And now UK is in the building. Thought it was a birth. I think Lala low-key wants Fofty. Yeah, wasn't she like talking to him after her separation from Rand? I definitely do. You know, don't be surprised if she pops up in a 50 Cent production, because he's got a couple of very successful shows. And speaking of Ariana, she is going to be in like a show with like, I don't know if it's a Tyler Perry show or something, but it's going to be like a big show with a lot of Black actors in Hollywood. Someone put a meme about it. They're like, oh my God, she's going to win a BET award. I was laughing so hard. Stephanie, oh my God, you're always so supportive. Thank you so much for the super chat. Stephanie says, loving the recap, Grace. And yes, people buy into what they want to hear versus what the reality is. Happens all the time in marketing. Ain't that the truth? And the tarot readers have mastered the art of that. You know, I'm always, and they're always like, oh, they're on your, I'm like, okay, like stop. No, it's not true. This does not apply to me. So if you guys are going through a breakup and you go on TikTok or YouTube and the people keep telling you your ex wants you back, please don't fall for that. Please. Maybe they do, but please don't fall for it. They keep saying it. They just keep saying it. Paris, let me show you why I call him Tinsel Tom, because this photo I love trolling you guys with. It looks like he's got like tinsel in his hair or tinfoil or whatever it is. So every time I call him Tinsel Tom, I have to flash that photo for you guys. There you go. So James, by the way, he wants to get into like tarot reading and stuff like that, because those are things that interest Allie. And again, I think that is a symptom of his extreme abandonment wounds. I don't think he's genuinely into this stuff. I think he just doesn't want to be left again. And so he has to do everything this girl wants. He has to like everything this girl likes. And that's what it is. Also, did you guys notice how how strong he was coming on when it was in the tarot reader's like office or whatever you call that, the lair. He kept on like stroking her hair and then like kissing her on the cheek in front of the guy, and it's just the three of them in that small room. Like I was like, James, we get it. You love, quote unquote, love this girlfriend. But you don't need to be stroking her hair and kissing her like every 2 seconds in front of this guy who's just trying to read your future for you, you know? Like it's a bit much. Yes, Chevy, that's a great example. That's exactly it. You know, sometimes people are like that. They say no, 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 but then the right person comes along. Thanks, Laura. And everything changes. You want everything that you previously said you did not want. Hi, Prairie Flower. Nice to have you here. Hi, Tasha. Oh, you guys are pouring in. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. And I agree with you, Luz. Like, absolutely. She is on a hunt right now. She is giving get out. So, okay. So you guys noticed that too. Okay. I'm happy. I was like, am I just like a hater of love, or is he doing too much? He was doing too damn much. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I love it. And I agree, Mr. Rogers. He keeps trying to convince himself, but he is not over that girl, you know, and I don't blame him. You were engaged. You were together for years. Like, it's totally normal that you are not over that relationship. It takes a lot of time, you know? So by the way, in the next scene, the Toms go over to Pump, I want to say, and they sit down. Hi, Casey. Nice to have you back, boo. And they sit down with Lisa Vanderpump, and they talk about like the thing with the restaurant. They're not going to pull their money out, and they want to stick with Greg. But then at this point, I'm like, is this just their MO to partner with people and talk crap about them? Because they did the same thing to Lisa. When Lisa helped them open their first ever bar, almost every step of the way, they were talking crap about her behind her back. They even had Ariana acting weird to Lisa. Wasn't Ariana being bitchy? And she had to apologize for the way she was speaking about Lisa. I was like, guys, are you kidding me? Like, she is giving you guys the opportunity of a lifetime, and this is how you're talking about her. Like, what? Like, it was very, very weird. So I think that is just her thing. And I agree with you, Gail, that he is just so insecure, and he engulfs. Yeah, that's a good word. Oh, Sloopy too. Yes, suffocate. He suffocates. He engulfs everybody. Yes. Yeah, Tasha, I have to. That was too funny. That was obviously, the TMZ video was so staged, just sitting there minding her own business while she's like, you know, persona non grata and whatnot. Please, what are the odds? Thank you, Paris. Okay, they went to Sir. They were not Pump. So they meet up with Lisa. They talk a little bit more crap about Greg before saying that that's their man. They're going to stick beside him. And so they were kind of like, okay, we've got Tom Schwartz selling his house, and so he's going to use some of the proceeds from the house sale to help keep us afloat. So we don't need to pull out the $50,000 or whatever from you. And so they can't open their bar on time at first, is what they say, but they seem just very lost. They're like, we can't open it on time because we've got Sheena's wedding. We're in the wedding party and whatnot, and blah, blah, blah. So it's not going to coincide with this. And so Lisa's like, wow, that's crazy, you guys. It's costing you so much money. Why isn't it opening? And then they blame it on Greg. Meanwhile, they just said they couldn't because of a wedding that they're going to. And then she's like, she pressures them again, talking about how they're losing money every single day. And so Sandoval, all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? We're going to open on the 31st, damn it, if that's the last thing I do. And then she pushes them over the edge. And what does she say? She goes, why don't you guys announce it on your social media to really trap them into that? And they're not ready. She didn't like let them get off and like talk to each other about it a little bit more and just like weigh things out with their business partner. She's like, tweet it right now. She was in her evil Kermit era, I swear. And I agree with you, Chevy. He's just too much. And I like an affectionate guy. Like, it's a love language of mine, like physical touch and stuff. But James is too much. I would feel just like, oh, get off me, you know, like too much. Exactly, Lauren. Like, come on now. You're really not just, you're at least on your phone, at least checking out your fresh manicure that you just had done. Something. Hi, TR1. Nice to see you. So Tom Schwartz then actually decides to go ahead and make an announcement on social media that somehow, some way, he and Tinsel Tom He and Tinseltown Tom are going to be opening their restaurant on the 31st. And so the scene kind of ends there. And I'm like, Lisa is such a manipulator. She knows those fools are not going to be able to open nothing on the 31st. And she just set them up for failure for shits and giggles. That's how you know she's evil. Okay, a lot of you guys are saying he's love bombing. Oh my God. Okay, I'm with you guys. I did see it. But here's the thing, some love bombers, they want to love bomb you to treat you poorly and stuff like that. But I feel like James is the type of love bomber where it's because of his very like anxious attachment style, his like abandonment wounds and whatnot, right? I feel like it's that way. But then again, he does cheat and stuff. So maybe he is a narcissistic love bomber, like you guys are saying. Can't these boys be able to vent about their problems with Greg? Paris, they can, but that's the thing. They complain about everybody. When they were partnering with Lisa on the first restaurant, they complained about her. Meanwhile, they didn't know the first thing about running a restaurant, right? And they still don't know anything, as evidenced by the complaints that they have and like listening to them throughout like the building of Schwartz and Sandy's. It's just they blame everybody but themselves, you know, and that's something that kind of like I feel like that's just how they are, you know. It's everybody else's fault. Even like their relationship. Schwartz is like, oh, you left me. It's like you literally forced that woman to leave you. She would have stayed with you. Like she was willing to slum it. The fact that she was with you was just like, oh, already. And like he still blames her. And then Sandoval, he's blaming his cheating on Ariana decision on the fact that they weren't banging as much as he would have liked, even though he could have just left her. You know what I mean? Like it's everybody else's fault. We're innocent type of people. And I agree with you, Mr. Rogers. Katie, she's got a lot of justified anger, but it needs to be channeled in the right direction. Absolutely. Jazz, I think so, but I'm excited to see what happens because I have a feeling they're not going to be able to do it. And that's going to be so fascinating to watch play out. And I really want to see how Greg kind of handles that as well. Hi, Ivory. Welcome to our YouTube membership. I just posted an exclusive video yesterday, so I hope you enjoy that as well. Not when we remember how he did Kristen spitting on her door. Oh, yeah. Oh. You know, I forget about that. That is freaking nasty. I'm sorry, but spit is just so disgusting. You guys, Sheena and Brock are still getting like the bare minimum screen time. Again, I wonder how much her pay got docked this season. And speaking of pay being docked, what's the tea on their Marina Del Rey house or apartment or whatever it is? Like, is that their vacation property? I had to go online and Google because I was like, with all the houses in Valley Village just looking so upscale and stuff, like, why is she living like that? It reminded me of like my family's first house, like when we moved to Canada and whatnot. Like we didn't have much money, obviously immigrating from Kenya and the conversion and stuff. And so like we had to get like a really kind of like, you know, a townhouse thing in like a sketchy neighborhood or whatever. That reminded me of that. And I'm like, this has to be a vacation house. And it probably is worth more than I'm imagining it's worth, or it looks like it's worth. And then I went on the maps and I saw that Marina Del Rey was quite far from LA, but still like reasonably close as well. So I'm like, is it a vacation house or is this just where they moved? Did she not ever have like a luxurious house, or was she always living in an apartment? I actually can't even remember. I don't know why. It's just like I'm going blank. Absolutely. Oh, Chevy, you guys are right. Okay. I'm delusional, I guess, when it comes to James. And it's not even by attraction. I was delusional with Sheena and Tom because I thought they were very beautiful. But with James, I don't know. Maybe my memory is just not it. So quick question, Casey. Is Palm Springs the same thing as Marina Del Rey or whatever? No, right? Like it's two different things. Because yeah, I was like that house. Like it's just, you know, especially when you look at Ariana and Tom's house and whatnot. Like, yeah. The way James poured water near Katie and fat shamed her. Yes, JP. Yeah, that's true. James was absolutely horrible. Remember when he and Raquel rolled up on everyone? I see everybody's not been working on their summer bodies, and they thought they ate with that lame ass line. Now, yeah, Sheena is so beautiful. I don't know why she settles the way that she does. To me, she's the most gorgeous girl to have ever been on Vanderpump Rules. But then she's always chasing men around and settling for less than like she can get and deserve. And I wonder why that is. I'm like, Brock, really? Every time I see him, I'm just looking at him from the side like, girl. And it's not even like just a looks thing. It's just like the whole vibe and the leaving the kids behind and the slapping the ex-wife. Like, really? This is what you settled for? I mean, I guess. Now, speaking of Sheena, what do you guys think about the fact that oh, thanks, Gail. That's weird. I wonder why. I like an apartment as much as the next person, but I'm excited to get a house, you know, especially if I have kids. I would like to have a house and a yard and a garden to grow rosemary and dill and lavender. Um, you guys, so her bridesmaid, she is now trying to book a hotel in that hotel for the resort for Sheena's wedding 2 weeks before the wedding. And obviously, they're at capacity. There's no room for her. And I'm like, is she really like this? But at the same time, I'm like, listen, everybody doesn't have the money to pay for like a non-essential luxury up front like that. So maybe that's the reason why she waited until the last minute. Maybe this is like the first time that it was financially feasible for her to do it, in which case I feel really bad for her about that. But at the same time, I kind of felt like, you know, Sheena should have bought the thing for her and then had her pay her back slowly. Like that's what we do sometimes with trips, you know. My friends and I were going to Portugal for a music festival, and then for one of them, another friend bought her festival ticket. It was 400 euros, and so she paid her back over like a month and a half or something like that, you know. And I'm like, okay, Sheena, she's got the money for that. You know, you're paying for Brock's child support. You can put out, you know, whatever it costs for that hotel room. By the way, $1,000, geez, in Mexico too. That's an expensive resort. My God. So Sheena wants for her friend to be able to buy Katie's hotel room because Katie RSVP'd no to her wedding. But the problem is Katie still wants to go to Mexico. She wants to actually go there to celebrate Christina Kelly's birthday. And we're going to get into that later because that is when a big drama falls out between her and her estranged husband, Tom Schwartz. And as usual, Tom Schwartz does not take her side. And I kind of felt like this was what they call in the relationship counseling world protest behavior, where she's still trying to test him to see if he'll ever stick up for her and whatnot. And unfortunately, as usual, he failed. Okay, so this is her first, 2 hours from LA too. And LA traffic is already bad. My God. Marina Del Rey. Thanks, guys, for the update on these. It's been so long. The show's been on for like 10, 11 years. I forget so much. See, that's the thing, Sloopy. I get her still wanting to go, but I don't like the way that that she's insisting on staying in that same resort. You know, I was like, okay, take the money from Sheena or the bridesmaid and then just go to a different resort. But she didn't want to do that. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that is weird. It truly is. It's like, you know, but at the same time, you know, it's like I just said, that is protest behavior. Katie is just trying to test and see if Tom Schwartz is going to stick up for her. And mind you, not only does Tom Schwartz not stick up for her, Brock has 2 kids low, but he even says something that hurt my feelings. I'm like, I have no involvement with this man, but it hurt my feelings. How, what does he say? Like Sheena goes out after talking to Katie and Katie refusing to give up the hotel room. She goes out to Schwartz. She bitches about the thing. And then Schwartz says, oh, what if I tell her that I'll get back together with her if she gives up the room? I was like, that is so mean. That is so freaking mean. Did anyone else find that mean? I was like, first of all, who told you you're a prize? Like, if Tom Schwartz, like, I consider that a threat. The idea of Tom Schwartz talking about he's going to get with you, that is a biological threat. Okay, of the most importance. Like, that is red alert. Like, my freaking fight or flight would be kicking in because he is the worst. He truly is. The way this man is ready to ride for everybody but his girl at all times, the way he has spilled a drink on her before, the way that he has spoken poorly about her and let other people speak poorly about her. And he's going to dangle the idea of a relationship with him. Like, that's a prize. Like, that's an aspiration. I'm sorry, but get over yourself. Get the hell over yourself, Schwartz. That was disgusting. I hated it. I really did. Okay. Yeah, not a great look. Barbara says Katie divorced Tom because he didn't have her back. Why does she think it's going to change now? She has too many. And that's the thing too. Maybe she thinks that he's going to try to get back to her now that he lost her, because a lot of people are like that. Listen, I'll tell you this. In my relationships, I've never had a breakup where the guy didn't come back. So maybe that's like the thing with Katie and her history, like in breakups with the guy comes back, and maybe she's thinking that that's going to happen with Tom. You know what I mean? Like, Are you guys the same? Does that happen to you too? Like you go through a breakup and like give it a couple months or something and the guy comes back always. So maybe that's what it is. It was not cool. And she, exactly, Steph. Katie's the one that left him, and he's over there talking about, oh, I'll get back together with her if she gets rid of the thing. I'm sorry, but just wow, wow, absolute shocker, you know? But, like Sloopy's saying, Katie was being immature in that moment because she did not need to stay in that resort in particular. You talk all this crap about Sheena. And speaking about talking crap about Sheena, um, your comments are always so funny, TR1. And speaking about all that crap that she talked about Sheena, when they did the flashback to Stassi's comments about Sheena's initial crop top wedding dress on TV, she's like, that is the ugliest wedding dress I've ever seen, blah, blah. She was really like trying to sound like the Mean Girls like actress. Remember, wasn't it? Like, that's the ugliest skirt I've ever seen, Like, that's what it was reminiscent of. I was like, that's awful. Like, these girls are truly mean, like, and for the hell of it, you know what I mean? And exactly, Paris, I felt bad for Sheena. Like, I was like, that must have been really hard for her to see the way that these people speak about her behind her back, because she has always tried to be friendly with these people. And this is what she gets. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And so Katie storms off because, as usual, Tom did not take her side. And so when he comes out there to half-ass try and kind of save things with her, she's like, stop, Tom. I just want an apology from Sheena. But she never told Sheena that she wanted an apology. So how do you expect something without like expressing a need for it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, right? Yeah. When you divorce someone, it's usually final. Yeah, maybe that's a thing, Barbara. Yeah. But I feel like she still has that kind of mentality as well. Katie didn't beg him to marry him for what I saw. He was stringing her along. Yeah, she was really, there was ultimatums, there were rings on strings, and then finally a proposal. And by the way, do you guys think he lost the marriage certificate on purpose? I do. But it's good for Katie because now you have to divide less of whatever you guys have because you were married for less than you would have been if he had filed it properly initially. I thought you were saying it was something that Brock said that made you upset when Sheena told Tom and Katie. No, that was Schwartz. Well, what if I tell her I'll get back together with her if she gets out the room? Sir, you are the opposite of a prize. By the way, I'm sorry, cat lovers, but I have to mention this. And I'm going to like shiver saying it. I talk about this sometimes, but I have a legitimate cat phobia. Like if a cat is in like within eye distance of me, I'm freaking out. I'm running the other direction. Like I'm so scared. I don't even like looking at them on TV. Just everything about them just gives me the creeps. And so when Ariana's cat starts coughing, oh my God. Oh, I like put my like thing, my notes in front of the thing so I didn't see it because it looked so demonic. And then just it was coughing up a fur ball. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, that freaking solidifies my phobia of these things. How demonic is that? Coughing up fur balls from what? Oh my God, that was really scary. Really, really scary. They should have put like a discretion is advised because that was crazy to me. So anyway, how did you, so Ariana, she did tell Katie about the pool party, and then she was like not like super upset about the fact that Raquel would be there and whatnot, because obviously she knows that they are like within the same friend group, and so she was going to try to like keep it like all kind of cool there. By the way, what did you guys think about them working with that business consultant? Like, I didn't see anything super convincing. They were like, oh, my mom used to own a restaurant, so I feel like I was born for a sandwich shop. And then Ariana's talking about like her life as a, what do you call this, like a bartender. There's this fancier word for this. Okay. Okay, I'm glad you two, Steph, like they scare me. My mom told me some really like scary like superstitions about cats when I was young. She said if you look at a cat in the eyes and it meows at you, you're gonna trade souls with it. You're gonna lose your freaking soul. So ever since, they give me the shivers. But yeah, like I didn't find anything convincing or anything like that. But I digress. That lady, she seemed to like buy it and whatnot, and she seemed to be ready to kind of like guide them and whatnot. So, Luz, that is so mean. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I was like, okay, we'll see how that goes. I know that they did ultimately end up buying the space. They are now selling the merch for like the sandwich shop and whatnot. So we'll see how that kind of goes. And I did want to also say that I felt really badly for Ariana in these scenes because you could see it in her eyes. You know, when you see someone's eyes that they've been crying, like her eyes look like, you know, the eyes of someone who has not been able to keep from crying for like more than like a couple of hours, you know, and that obviously is very difficult. Remember at this time, her dog, Charlotte, that she had like for a large part of her life, like 13, 14 years had passed away. And so it's been very, very difficult for her. And the reason why she was even throwing this pool party is because she wants to finally be able to feel like alive again, happy again, and whatnot. Thank you guys. You're the best. Mixologists. Yes, that's what Ariana is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Oh, I love lives for this reason. So yeah, I was like, okay, Ari. And you know, that actually, like, in speaking about that, that makes me sad for her too, because she's the one who's throwing this party because she's been depressed for a long time after losing her dog. And then one of her best friends, Raquel, won't even acknowledge her when she talks about this like pool party that she's throwing. You know, when she talks to James, she's like, yeah, Sandoval's doing it. And Sandoval told me you're invited. And it's at Sandoval's house. And I was like, oh, that is just really icky. And James, like, I think he caught a vibe because he was like, yeah, like it's very weird, the situation. Like it feels like Raquel is inserting herself in this group, which, you know, was interesting because she was not getting along with the girls outside of Ariana. And then when it comes to the guys, she was getting along with the two Toms. So it's like he shouldn't feel that way based off just like her being friends with three people. I think that he knew something deeper was going on. And I'm with you, Mr. Rogers. She needs to go no contact. No contact all the way is what I always say. It hurts. It sucks. It's brutal. It's painful, but it's the best. You will. Oh, protectors. No, they are of the demonic realm and they hunt demons. I'm joking, but they just scare me too much. Yeah, so I don't know, like that was it. Like I definitely think that this whole, oh, we're trying to be friends, we're having a monthly friend date, is not going to work, and it's making the healing process, it's prolonging the healing process is what I should say. So now what happens next? Oh, there's this guy that shows up at the pool party, and then Schwartz randomly says that are you sure, Felicia? Because you might be the cat. This is the cat writing this down right now. The real Felicia is in the body of one of these 11 cats of yours. So Short says that this guy made out with Raquel at Coachella and not him. But I'm like, well, didn't the new T come out and claim that it was actually Sandoval who had been making out with Raquel at Coachella? Right? So I don't know. That was a little bit surprising to me. But at the same time, Raquel is someone who seems to be into like making out with any and everybody. I'm like, girl, you're gonna catch something. Like, you know, there's still like diseases out there. Like kissing people in the mouth can still get you a little something something. So be careful, you know, even if it's mono or strep or whatever it is, you can still get something. So don't be out here like just kissing everybody on the mouth and whatnot. So that was a little bit weird, but I do digress. So Lala says, by the way, she's talking to everybody at this pool party, and she says that she can never forgive Raquel for referring to her as a mistress. And I'm like, girl, just own it. You were a mistress. You brag about it. You brag about eating his hairy booty hole for like $300 Gucci sandals, you know, for a ride on the private jet and whatnot. Like, he should, Paris. You're right. That's an interesting thought. And whatnot, like, so just own it, right? Like, just own it. Everybody somehow knew except for you that he was married. Please, please. They all told her so many times on the air that he was married, and she just kept on playing dumb about it. She tried to throw NDAs around to shut them up. So I don't like the way she's like, oh my God, how dare she call me that? Like, if the shoe fits, which it does. But I digress. Now, what do you guys think, by the way, of Sheena Shea not allowing DJ James Kennedy to invite his girlfriend to be his date to the wedding? James was upset about it because, again, he feels as though people are favoring Raquel over him. He's like, does Raquel get a +1 and I don't get one? Like, what's going on here? How did you feel about that? One thing I like about Sheena Shea is that she does not mess around with her coin. Like, she's into investing, she's into saving. remember that guy Brock, the first ring he got her, he claims it's like all expensive and whatnot, but I don't think it was like, you know, break the bank like if it were a diamond of the same size. And then the second ring he got her that they used at the actual wedding was like a 2-carat moissanite, which is a really good diamond alternative. I used to really love them as a diamond alternative, but here's the thing: lab diamonds cost so cheap now that you can even get like a 1-2 carat for like $1,000 max. Not max, but like $1,000. Let's say that, okay, which is really really reasonable. You know what I mean? But I love that about her, that she is, you know, all about her money. But that's the thing, you guys. I was like, is Bravo not paying for this? Like, I thought Bravo paid for these sorts of like events and whatnot, but I guess not. Remember, their ratings were really low. They were threatened that this was going to be their final season and whatnot. And so maybe that's the reason why they did not have the budget for it. Bianca says, do you think by Short saying his lookalike being the actual guy made out with Raquel at Coachella? Yeah, like he was trying to like, but I think that she did make out with that guy in addition to Sandoval at the end of the day. And I was like, Tom, there you go, flattering yourself again. That man is not your twin. Did you guys see the abs on that man? Jesus, they were like high definition abs and whatnot. Oh yeah, that was funny when she invited Lisa. What was Lisa's response? Something about, was she talking about? I forgot what she said, but it was true. She did invite her, and I thought that was very sweet. But Lisa, she's not going to go around all these drunk, like, you know, people and whatnot for a pool party. Absolutely not. So yeah, like James, and she says that, listen, James, I want to reassure you that a lot of people do not have plus ones for this wedding. You know, even some of my family members don't have plus ones. And I'm like, go girl, because listen, you are paying per plate. And if you don't know the people, whatever, right? I like that. Every time, oh, by the way, this guy, apparently his name is Ladon. What's his name? Ladon? Is it Ladon? Because every time Lala mentions him, I'm thinking Ladam. Like you guys watched The Real Housewives of Potomac, right? Karen Huger's Ladam. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking every time. I'm like, what is she talking about? Oh, that's his. Okay. Now, I do want to know you guys' opinion, because remember, we did talk about how Lala and Katie and Christina Kelly were very much bullying Raquel in Vegas and in this episode as well. How did you feel about Raquel kind of retaliating by calling Lala Kent pathetic? Sheena told Raquel that Lala called her weak, and she's like, you know what? Well, I think Lala is pathetic. And I was like, ooh, that's a really, really brutal kind of like word to use on someone. I don't like it personally, but I feel like when you're backed into a corner by people who constantly attack you for every little thing, even something as silly as using like galaxy lights in your bedroom, like I can see why you would eventually snap. Exactly, Bunny Chic. That's why I'm all about the lab diamonds right now. Get you a good 1-carat, 2-carat for like $1,000. I feel like that's really good. Like the prices from before were just too much. It's because Brock said they look alike. Oh, Brock said that. By the way, I feel like no one likes Brock. Like he's always just there. He gets like one line and then everyone kind of like scurries off or something like that. And did you guys also notice that in the mid-season trailer, they didn't really show the wedding. They showed the kiss and that's it. And I was like, oh my God, like no one really cares. Oh, Lisa said she'd be there with her G-string on. Oh, she's funny. She is so cheeky. I like her. Now, I have to ask you what you guys thought about the fact that Ariana, she's like, you guys, when she was talking to the Vanderpump Rules mean girls, so Lala, Katie, and Kelly, Christina Kelly, she's like, well, listen, I heard that you guys were picking on her for having a galaxy light. And then Lala, the freaking liar, she's like, no, we didn't. We thought it was cool. And so I'm so happy that the producers went ahead and showed the flashback. They're like, you guys made fun of this girl. What are you talking about? You thought it was cool. Absolutely not, you know? And I'm like, why are they lying? I felt like that was really weird, right? Like, I was like, what the hell is that about? And so they start going in on her. And then her man, Tom Sandoval, starts defending her. And he says, you know, Katie, if someone doesn't do things the way that you want them to do things or doesn't think the way that you want them, you just want to destroy them. You want to eviscerate them. And I thought that was great. I felt like it was a little bit weird the way that Ariana walked away immediately and then was like, oh, Tom, I'm walking away. First of all, Ari, no one asked you why you were walking away. Just go ahead and walk away. And she goes, I'm walking away because I don't want it to be Tom versus the girls. And it's like, girl, like let him put them in their place because he's telling the truth, right? Like those girls are really mean. They want everyone to do things the way that they do it, right? And it's like whatever. Um, you pounce. Was it okay that she called Lala bimbo? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, um, yeah. She called Lala a bimbo mistress. I was like, oh my god, she is just ready to go in on that girl. Honestly, I'm not surprised, and I'm happy that they all kind of band against him because I don't like that it's socially acceptable for men to be deadbeats. And I don't think it should be socially acceptable for a man to be slapping a woman either, you know? And for those reasons alone, I'm like, good, good. Don't talk to that guy. Ew. Right? Like, what the hell is that? So yeah, it was really interesting to watch Tom like defend Raquel. Like, if we didn't know what we knew now, I would be like, wow, he's a really good friend. Like, obviously, she's really tight with him and his girlfriend and whatnot. But now here we are. It's painful even to see because he wasn't the only one defending her. The only two people defending her in this situation were him and his girlfriend, Ariana. And just to see what she did to Ariana, wow, just wow. Like I felt so bad for her. And again, remember this thing Ariana gives her such a huge compliment. Like at the top of the episode, she's like, what's it like being the hottest person on the effing planet? I'm like, geez. Like that probably like made her like stomach turn when she went back and like watched it. You know what I mean? Like, ouch. But yeah. Oh God. What can you do? So Raquel, like it was mentioned in the comment section, she really drags Lala. She's like, Lala, you are just a bimbo mistress. Like, where did she get that from? That is so funny. And then she drags the rest of them. She drags Katie and she drags Christina Kelly, and she says, "You guys are just Chihuahua mean girl followers." I was like, yeah, girl, you go. And this is what I meant at the top of the recap when I was like, how bad are these girls when I am rooting for this person who did something so horrible? I can't forgive what Raquel did, even though it's not for me to forgive or anything like that. But in this moment, I am rooting for her because these girls are insufferable. They're so mean, they're so cruel, and they gang up on people together. It's like watching a hazing ritual or something like that. And so Raquel says that she is no longer putting up with things. And she's like, and it starts with James, like the stuff I put up with him and whatnot, like I'm not putting up with him and I'm not putting up with you, Lala. And then James gets really pissed and he starts confronting her like, oh, why? One wedding per cast member, eh, Ballerina? He's like, why would you even bring me up? Like, we broke up. Like, don't bring me up or whatever. It's like, oh, shut up, James. Like, you're part of the story. And she's making a point. Like, if you didn't do the things you did, like cheat with Lala, then whatever. And I actually really liked the way Tom Sandoval was like, you know what, Lala? Just because you're over the fact that you cheated with her boyfriend years ago doesn't mean that she has to be over it. She only found out like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so give her time to process it. And I was like, you were absolutely right, dude. Like, you can't just give people traumatic information like that because it is traumatic, right? To find out the relationship you thought you had was a complete lie. It's a big shock to the system, and it takes a lot of time to adjust to and get used to. And you can't just tell someone after like doing that to them and like whatnot that they need to get over it immediately. Like, it's just ridiculous, right? And that is true, Jasmine. They've always been there to defend the underdogs, and that's something that I have loved about them. And that's like a big part of their relationship with James as well. Like, a lot of times people wanted to blacklist James and stuff like that from like filming and whatnot, but they were always there for him, right? And like, how crazy is that Sandoval would turn around and get with his ex like that? I feel like that angle is not talked about enough. We talk a lot about how Raquel screwed over her best girlfriend Ariana, but what about James? Like, Tom Sandoval screwed James over, and they were besties. James was opening for his band. James, like, he paid for James's proposal to this girl just to go ahead and screw her. Like, that is enormous, and I feel like that side needs to get a lot more attention at the end of the day. Something that was quite interesting that Raquel says towards the end of the episode is that she used to kind of like live for other people's validation and whatnot, but that is something that she is leaving in the past. That is not something that she is willing to do anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you can kind of tone it down while you do that though, because like you're overcorrecting, I think is what they call that. When you're too much one way, then you try to correct the course, but then you steer a little bit too far in the other direction to where it's just a little bit too extreme. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the episode. Is there anything that I'm missing, by the way? I'm just taking a look at my notes. Yeah, like they get into that resort thing, but we kind of skipped ahead on that. We already discussed it. I said, and I think you guys agreed as well, that like Katie was being a bit of a weirdo, insisting on staying in that resort. She's like, it's not like we're going to be eavesdropping um on your wedding. And I did like when they did that little flash forward and she and Christina Kelly are in their robes staring at the wedding from the balcony. I was like, oh my God, that is so funny, but like so cringe in real life, but perfect for television. And mind you, Katie's final straw here was when Tom Schwartz, the man who has never ever stuck up for her, literally comes from the backyard to get in the kitchen to tell her to give up something that she wants to keep in defense of someone else. And it's like, when have you ever seen him do that for her? You know, if she wanted someone to do something and they weren't willing to do it, like out of fairness, when have you ever seen him go up and say, listen, my wife wants this, my wife needs that? No, never. He would be talking her out of wanting it. So I could totally see why she was so upset. Oh, Gigi, I'm so sad you didn't get the notification. I'm sorry, darling. Hopefully you're able to catch up. It's been such a fun recap. She ate, but crumbs were left, Catherine. That is funny. And it is true, Ashley. I do think that she was practicing her reads and she was trying so hard. And again, she was a little tipsy, but not too much like the last time. So she was able to still like pack a little bit of a punch. I don't know. I don't get why Katie stayed with Tom Schwartz for too much. You know, that's why I kind of feel like, listen, like you can't even get mad at him because you've taught him for 12 years that it's perfectly acceptable to treat you that way. Right? So how is he supposed to treat you any differently when you've set this as your standard? Right? So I don't know. Like, it's just disappointing. This is why you always have to have your standards very clear, you know, from the beginning. Don't let things slide ever. How they treat you at the beginning is like the best that they're ever going to do. And if that's already not great, like set them straight or set them free. Steph says, Raquel read her the best way she could, and I'm here for it. All Lala could do is sit there and get read down like Giselle at every RHOP reunion. Absolutely. I like to call that stuck on stupid. Just you know, sitting there scowling and whatnot. Oh my God. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Vanderpump Rules recap. This has been absolutely incredible chatting with you. As usual, I do this Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget, tune back in next week, same time, same place. Well, not same place. I'll have a different link up for you guys, okay? And then we'll be able to talk about it again. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to, what do they call it? They call it a guignette. I don't know what the translation for that is, but I'm going to there's this hotel that has like a cool restaurant sort of thing where like people like perform. So sometimes they have, what do you call it? It's not can burlesque type of people and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be kind of like fun for a little apero hour. It's 5 o'clock on my side. So I'm going to get ready to head out there for that. All right. Thank you guys. Gros bisous. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.